Good morning, good morning, good morning. Terri Hardin here, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer, broadcasting to you live as I do every Monday and Friday at this bat time, 9:25. Welcome. I broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're joining me from either platform, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are an alumni, thank you for rejoining me. And today we're going to talk a few things. Now, you'll notice my thumbnail kind of was Star Wars centric. And I'm going to warn you that the Ask Me Anything takes me on many journeys. But we're going to start with Star Wars because that's what's on my mind. And Star Wars is is mostly on my mind because I was there in '77 at one of the very first screenings because my boyfriend at the time, which is now my husband, he took me to see Star Wars, and the room stretched like in Jaws, and my life was never the same. And that's how my career and history. If you don't know about my career and history, a real good way to do that is to Google me. Seriously, Google Terri Hardin, and it all will be told to you, including a Wikipedia page. So I could not begin to explain it all to you, and my life has been golden, and I don't even believe it. So welcome. I'm here to tell you a few stories. I'm here to share some things with you. And Star Wars. I've seen Star Wars. Well, I've seen Star Wars a lot more times, but back in the day, 1977, I was put in George Lucas's Skywalking book. I don't know that I have a picture. Probably don't. But his book, Skywalking, I'm on page 3. I'm also in the index under Terri Hardin for seeing it 181 times. That's right. Without VHS, without DVD, there was no such animal back in 1977. And the reason I did this was because as an artist, that film showed me that what I was doing obsessively, creatively for all those years as a young person, that was going to be my career. I saw it, it clicked, and that became my career. I did a lot of films, Ghostbusters, Men in Black, worked on some not so great films with some great Star Wars people, and the dream came true because I sat in that theater and sketched and wrote down every name from the credits of Star Wars because my mission was to meet a lot of those people in the credits, and you could not Google. There was no Google. And so I sat there and wrote them down. I snuck into the theater and watched it. In 1 week, I had seen it 67 times because I kept hiding in the bathroom, changing my clothes and my hair and stuff, and going to see the movie. And then on my 66th or whatever, I got caught by the manager, and he told me he would let me see it for free if he could broadcast my 100th viewing. And I said, sure. So then I went on to see it 181 times, and then I stood in line for 3 days to see Empire, blah, blah, blah. I'm working on a book called, well, right now it's My Star Wars Life, or Star Wars One Girl's Journey to a Dream, or whatever. Anyway, I was going to release that May the 4th. That book was going to come out May the 4th when, dun, 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 the post office announced these stamps. Have you seen these stamps, guys? They're coming out May the 4th. You'll notice if you're a Star Wars nut, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 10 robots. There they are for you to look at, featuring 10 different droids. Okay? And the sheet contains 2 sets of them, top and bottom. You can see that by the center one. May the 4th is the release date. What does that mean? That means that that's the first day issue of said Star Wars droids stamps. That's a mouthful. But let's talk about that a little bit. You can go to the USPS.com, United States Postal Service.com. That's what USPS is for. And you can pre-order them, and then May the 4th, they will deliver them to you. But also take a look, and you know, Joseph Massey mentioned this, that you can also get envelopes with what's called the color DCP. DCP meaning digital color postmark. And each postmark in these envelopes, and the envelopes run you just under $18, I believe, will have the robot. Let's have, DO or R2 as our example, or even BB-8. And BB-8 would be the stamp on the right corner, and then the cancellation, the color digital color postmark or cancellation that states May the 4th is when these were released, will correspond or match. So they will match. So you'll get the matching R2 with the R2 stamp, the matching BB-8 with the BB-8 stamp, et cetera, times 10. So if you want these because you're a Star Wars collector and you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, this is an opportunity to go there and pre-order them. If you want, and I promised my friend MJ that I would share this with you, if you really want to go all out because you are the ultimate Star Wars person, you can go into the Hollywood. If you happen to be in Southern California, you can go into Hollywood on May the 4th and get what Michael calls the red, or stamp collectors across the globe call the red round dater, which is a postmark that's round. The color is red, and get your envelope stamped. But here's the caveat, guys. You're going to go there on May 4th. You're going to buy a set of stamps like I've just showed you. You're going to bring your envelopes. You're going to have to stick said stamps on the envelope and then put them through the postal service to get, the post office is going to have to cancel them that day on May 4th. So that's a little more energetic. If you're someone who needs a little more exercise, you want to do something fun, this is an opportunity for you. And if you want to learn, would you like to know more? If you'd like to learn more, you can go here, and forgive me because my banner would not allow me to put the T in chapter. So I apologize for that. It's chapter, but it should be chapter. For some reason, it just won't let me put the T in chapter, and I can't even tell you why. So I won't even argue. I'll just let it do what it wants to do. Technology means go with the flow, right? Exactly. So if you want to learn more, there is a Claude C. Reese chapter Facebook page. And you can go to that page, and they talk all things first day covers and stamps, because that's what these folks are about. They love stamps, not just the Star Wars droid stamps. But the reason I'm allowing you to cross over today and telling you about it is because this is something you may have missed. And so if you're a Star Wars nut like me, I want to give you all the Star Wars yummy stuff, okay? Not just a little bit of maybe stuff, but I want to give you some amazing Star Wars stuff. In 2007, I sold my entire Star Wars collection to collectors just like you at auction and made a good chunk of change, to which I took my husband to Japan to see Disneyland Tokyo, which is one of the things he wanted to see. I have work there, things I've built it as Imagineer. I worked on Splash Mountain there and the Splash Boat, among a few other things in Tokyo Disneyland. You're riding my boat and you're going through my mountain and you're coming down my main drop. So as an Imagineer, as a very busy girl, Tokyo Disneyland, I'm known for doing the dragon in Paris. And so, but Star Wars is the thing that started it all. And the blessing was that I did Captain EO, and many of you will go, wow, Michael Jackson. But George Lucas was on board there, and I was able to sit with George and thank him for Star Wars. So opportunities abound. If the door opens, my advice to you is to go through it. Just go through it. Figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it after you've walked through. But don't miss any opportunities because you're afraid you can't do it, because you can. You're amazed at. You'll amaze yourself at how you're going to be able to do some of the things. I had to design Dragon's Lair, and I had never designed an attraction in my life. And Tony Baxter said that if I wanted to do this said attraction, that I would have to design it myself. So I said, okay. And with Ghostbusters, the movie, where I played the temple dogs that Sigourney Weaver turns into, they asked me if they would be more feminine. Terry, do you think if you played the terror dog, would it be more feminine? Yes. and they cast me as the dog. Did I know for sure? No, I didn't know for sure, but I knew I was a good puppeteer and very good at what I do and very strong, and I performed him well. But there was an opportunity and I just walked through the door. And so sometimes you just have to keep the faith and just go through that door. So Star Wars gave me tons of interviews, tons of opportunities. And I was trying to remember what I was saying, but anyway, I was trying to see if I had something, and I'm not sure I do. But yeah, you just walk through this door of opportunity. Now I remember what I was going to do. And it's great, you know. So here's my dragon's lair. This is me and my dragon's lair. Let me pull off the thing, but here's dragon's lair, and here I am with my dragon. I did the entire attraction from the foundation up. Did I build it in France? No, and that's another story. But I did design the whole thing, and then got to pick the man who went. So the guy who went, my dear friend Matt McKim. So it was great. I walked through crying when I first saw it in the year 2000 when I finally got over to France. It was beyond joyful, and it was a real good opportunity. One that I say, bam, you go, right? You go through it. You know, you want to design a ride. So nowadays, and Star Wars was that, because I wanted the first ticket to Empire Strikes Back. I had to stand in line for 3 days to get it. I just did it. I had a lot of friends too that were so sweet. So that's in the book, and the book will come out next year, and you'll be one of the first people to know. So fear not, you will be one of the first people to know about it. And but my point is this: opportunity knocks, just go through it, okay? And if you want to be an Imagineer, if you have a dream of record deals, or what is your dream? Nowadays, you got to just go through the door, and you got to fight for it. You can't just, sit in a room and pray for it. You got to take action. And the reason you have to take action is because there are people out there that are going to tell you, or maybe say to you, you're not worthy. And let me tell you, you are worthy, but you got to believe. Okay. And you have to fight for that belief, because, people say, why you? Well, if you are tenacious and you never give up, definitely you, right? Just, you got this. Definitely you. Okay. So just bear that in mind. But Star Wars was something that I knew was the gateway to my career. And it turned out to be exactly that. Terry's personal yellow brick road. And it can be your personal yellow brick road if you saw a movie that you loved. I mean, Ghostbusters was a dream come true, even though at the time I was just so happy to be on a film. It was my second. The first one I did was David Lynch's Dune, where I built the still suits and I stunt doubled. Yes, I did. I stunt doubled for Angelica, I stunt doubled for Angelica Houston. See, I'm getting the A's wrong. But Sean Young I stunt doubled for Sean Young in Dune, and stunt doubled. See, try to talk on Friday. I don't know what it is. And stunt doubled for Angelica Houston in Captain EO. I was the witch that flies up. If you can't recognize Angelica, it's yours truly. Am I giving you fodder for questions? Yes, I am. Yeah, there's a lot. I've been with Jim Henson since 1982. Not Jim Henson the person, but Jim Henson as a Muppeteer. I was with Jim Henson off and on. I worked with him just before he passed. And now I'm part of the team that, the pool, if you will, of Muppeteers that Henson reaches into when they have certain things that they want to have performed. So that's kind of the way it works in the entertainment industry, is you're kind of in a little area. They reach in and they pull you out when they need you, and they put you back, close it up, put you away, right? And that's also why I'm known as the come here, get away, Imagineer, because Disney pulls me out of the box and uses me to catch them up, certain attractions that have fallen behind. And then when I'm done, they put me in a box and call me later. I call it last hired, first fired. And for many of you, this could be scary, right? But for me, it's perfect. So for me, it works. But If you want to be an Imagineer nowadays, you don't have to do it my way. You just simply draw a line in the sand and then create. Just do it. You want to animate? Animate. If you want to illustrate, illustrate. If you want to do concept art, do concept art. Post it on social media, everyone, and then post your dream. Okay, because I run into a lot of artists who show us all their really cool stuff. And then what do we do on an Instagram or a Facebook or a YouTube? We like it, right? Or we subscribe to it. But if you're looking to be an Imagineer, be sure you also on your Instagram or your Facebook page where you're showing your amazing abilities, be sure to do a little video about how you want to be an Imagineer, because they're looking. They are looking. They are. Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you several situations where people have hit on the dream because they shared their dream. During the pandemic, the little girl who was drumming so well, and the next thing you know, she's drumming with bands. And what was she, like 8 or something crazy? She posted her dream. She wanted to be a drummer. She showed a video. Father shot a video. Now she's doing drumming because she was amazing, right? A kid that built, I guess it was a family that built a roller coaster in their backyard. I guess they were doing the Matterhorn, and Imagineers contacted them and talked to them. So you got to do what you're going to do. Talk us through it. It's really good to show the process, and then say, my dream is to be I want to be a blank with blank. And you just keep. So, for example, usually every broadcast I say I'd like to meet Clint Eastwood. Okay. I've met a lot of celebrities, but I really would like to now meet Clint Eastwood. I've gotten some really great pearls of wisdom from a lot of celebrities. Sidney Poitier, Elizabeth Taylor, Michael Jackson, Eli Wallach, Lee Van Cleef, Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, Pierce Brosnan, she's up for Academy Award. All of a sudden, her name, Glenn Close, Dame Judi Dench, Jack Nicholson, and the list can go on and on. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Rick Moranis, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, great friend and a good guy. We that went further. Michael Jackson, a lot longer friendship afterwards. John Goodman, on and on and on and on. Every one of these people I had a conversation with and got some really great pearls of wisdom. Now I'd like to meet Clint Eastwood. I would be willing to pay. So I would contribute to his charity if he would give me 15 and 20 minutes of his time so I could thank him for some of the things that he has done for me as a little mixed girl, and as a rising actress, and as a lover of films and TV. So that's what I'd love to happen. And you've got to speak this, guys. You've got to speak it out of your mouth. I want to. I believe I am. I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but it really works. Okay? It really does. I wanted to meet Eli Wallach because I love him as Tuco in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And I stated this to my husband, and true story, 2 weeks later, I was on the set as an extra on a film called Mama's Boy. I don't know if you guys remember it, but on Mama's Boy, Eli played a really sweet little character, and my role was hilarious because I can't be an extra because I look too, I have too distinctive a look. Okay. So a lot of times if I'm an extra, they put me way in the back. Okay. So I'm like a silhouette. And on this movie, I was the shadow on the back of a bookstore. So they were filming the bookstore inside the bookstore, and I was the shadow crossing in the back to create atmosphere. That's how hard they work. They like me, they like my personality, and whenever they can, they hire me as an extra, but they put me way, way back. One exception was Men of a Certain Age. Do you remember that show? They put me right next to the principal cast, and everybody called me and said, "Was that you?" So a person like me as an extra is a bit distracting because I have such an unusual look. So I'm not offended when they put me way back. And my agent is so cute because she says, Terri, if you were a dead body face down in a dumpster, your fans would call and say, Terri, why are you naked in a dumpster on CSI? So she would never, and she never will allow that. I'm just too recognizable. So few and far between. But that's how I just 2 weeks after met Eli Wallach, and it was joyful and wonderful. He signed my 20-year anniversary copy of Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and then he also gave me a beautiful picture of him as Tuco, which I love. So share your heart with the celebrities you love. You're going to find that they put their pant legs on one after the other. I'm born and raised in Hollywood, so I don't get too starstruck. I was a little, like my husband says, I was very shy around Robin Williams. I was at an event where Robin Williams was speaking, and I had worked as an Imagineer on Circle Vision 3D. Do you guys remember Circle Vision 3D? Circle Vision 3D had Robin Williams as a robot, okay? And I sculpted the head, the preliminary head, and that was because my coworker and colleague in the Imagineering sculpture department was Terry Azumi, and it was his project. But while on vacation, something came down through the pike of Imagineering, and he wasn't available to do it. So Valerie Edwards, who was in charge of everything, an amazing sculptor, Google her, she's fantastic. She came to me and she said, Terri, you sculpted foam. Could you do me a favor and seriously whip up a Robin Williams head in about 2 hours in foam? I mean, I am fast, but that was a little challenging, but I did it. And Robin Williams came in to see it, and I met him first at Imagineering, and he was more bouncier than I could ever be, talking a mile a minute, absolutely, you know, I just never seen someone like that. But he finally calmed down and we got to chat for a bit. And so I was at this event years later, and I wanted to just remind him who I was and say hello. But a guard came up who was protecting him and told me I couldn't, and I stopped. I usually don't do that, honestly. If I want to see someone, I just walk around the guard. But for some reason, I didn't. So my husband walked around the guard and told Robin Williams that I was there, and he got very excited. Bless his heart for getting excited. And we stood on the balcony at the Directors Guild, and we chatted for about 25 minutes, and it was lovely. And I've had conversations. I've done 3 movies with Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi Goldberg actually called my dad and got my dad to set so he could see what I did for a living. Because before then, my parents wouldn't come. My dad didn't want to be in the way, and my mom would have been sitting in Whoopi Goldberg's lap. So, so here's the thing about that. Whoopi's nugget for me was keep people around that were your friends before you made it big, because they keep you grounded. You don't float up in the air thinking you're more special than anybody else, because you've got this pod of friends, if you will, that keep you grounded, keep you understanding. I actually call that my mother, but I'm never allowed to float up in the air and think too much of myself, because I have my mom. Anytime I start to lose that, I call my mother. But this is what Whoopi's thing was. And when I was doing a really crazy film, not a good one, with her, and she was lovely, called Theodore Rex, about dinosaur police. You can see it, and if you pay $1, you pay too much. But anyway, she had seen that people had brought their families, and she walked up to me and she said, why is your family not here? And I said, I'd love for my family to be here, Whoopi, but they just, you know. And Whoopi got on, that time it was a flip phone. She flipped that phone open and she called my dad. My dad actually didn't believe it was Whoopi Goldberg on the phone. So Whoopi had to say, is your daughter working with Whoopi Goldberg on a film? And my dad was like, yes. And is it possible that I sound like Whoopi Goldberg? And my dad said, yes. And she said, well, I am Whoopi Goldberg, and I want you to come and see your daughter work. It would mean a lot to her. True story. Whoopi did this. And I'm going to send a car for you, and you're going to come. And so she sent a car for my father. We were shooting at Griffith Park on a night shoot. So she picked up, she wasn't there in the car, but she sent a car to pick up my dad. And my dad got in the car and was amazed. I don't know if my dad had ever been in like a limo. It was like a limo. Okay. I don't know if it was a limo, but it was limo-esque. It made people look, is the thing. And my father lives in a very like little rural neighborhood. He was the first telephone man in Hollywood, the first black telephone man in Hollywood ever hired. And they said it's going to be adversity, and my dad was like, okay, again, a guy who walks through opportunity. That's where opportunity knocks. He goes through the door, worries about it later. That's where I get it from, is my hero father. But he rode in the car and got out of the car, and Whoopi met him and put him in her director's chair with her name on it and sat with my father. And as I did the scene with my audio animatronic puppets, she explained what was going on and what I was doing and why it was like this and how they performed. And she was such a doll about it. I'll never forget how generous she was, and she is. She is so generous. I've done 2 other films with her. She always remembers me, and her staff remembers me, and just lovely, just a lovely, lovely person. And she really is someone that I admire because she's never walking down the middle of the road. Whoopi Goldberg has a viewpoint, take it or leave it, love it or don't, but she has a strong viewpoint and she doesn't mind saying it, and bless her for that. Because sometimes I wonder if I could be a little more, but I love her for that. And we saw her get her hands and dreadlocks put in cement at the Chinese theater. So I was not going to be able to go. My dad really wanted to go. And the reason I wasn't going to be able to go is because I was shooting her film, this T-Rex again. I was shooting that film that day. So I was on set shooting what they call second unit. And so I wasn't going to go, but I said, Dad, you go, And then at the last minute, they made that a night shoot. So I called my father and I said, hey, look, I can take you out there. We'll go watch Whoopi get her hands in the cement. And what they did was there was a sequence, always a fun publicity stunt. This is something I can share with you. And the reason I'll share it with you, and I know it's not Star Wars, I was there also for R2-D2 and that plan to get their feet and hands and whatever they had as robots in the cement as well. I was there for that too. Okay, so it's kind of like I said, it's not exactly sticking to the thumbnail, but it's Ask Me Anything. So I'm kind of prepping you. So forgive me. This is, if you're first time joining me, this is me, guys. Subscribe if you think this freeway is one you want to be on regularly. If not, I understand and I love you. But yeah, subscribe, hit the little bell, be a part of this group. You never know what Terri's going to say. That will eventually be what this channel will be. You never know what Terri's going to say. Join her. Because as everyone says, I'm full of stories, and that's what you get. You get a list full of stories, and then I go over and I check your questions, and we go from there. Okay. So I'll get back to Star Wars in a minute, so hang in there. But we went to see Whoopi get her start, and what they thought would be cool for filming this was to take her dreadlocks like I have here and cut some off and press them into the cement. Well, we don't cut our dreadlocks off here, okay? We just don't do it. It's not done. But Julia, who was the hairdresser to Whoopi at the time, sewed in a set of dreadlocks so that she could simply lift those prop locks, cut them off, and then press them into the cement. Because personally, you're not going to glue them back or anything. You're not. That hair is done after. So she pressed that into the cement. That was kind of the little publicity stunt there. And while we were waiting for her to come and do this whole cement thing, my father met some ladies from out of state. I think they were back east. I want to say they were either from Jersey or they were from New York or somewhere easterly. And my dad loves to chat. That's also where I get it. And he was chatting with them about my daughter works with Whoopi. That's why we're here. And I was on the set and blah, blah, blah. And you know how when you've met someone or your story seems a little bigger than life, that sometimes people look at you like you are embellishing too much. Well, I'm here to tell you my life doesn't need embellishment. It's crazy enough as it is, and it's amazing enough. It's wild. It's so wild. And I want to tell you, not to say how wonderful my life was, but if you're looking to have one of these things happen to you, you want to meet someone you care about, you want to be an actor, actress, you want to be an artist, you want to be a musician, I'm here to tell you the opportunities are there. Just make sure you walk through them. Don't let fear keep you back. And worry about it when the door closes behind you. Just that's what happened with me in Dragon's Lair. Okay. I love dragons. I knew if anyone could create an experience underneath the castle in Paris, it was me, because I love dragons. I know all about them. And I knew I could do it. I'd never done it, but that doesn't matter. You know, now's my chance. Right. So we're there watching, and my dad is telling them the story, and all the women are kind of like, they just don't believe him. I can tell they don't believe him. He's going on and on. He doesn't care if they believe him because it's the truth. Whoopi finally comes out, and she sees my hair, which is out like this, okay? This is the thing about being half black. I got my dad's hair, and the blonde, we have no idea where it came from. But it's full on big, okay? Just the way my hair was. It was unruly. Until dreadlocks came, my hair was a challenge, always a challenge. And the source of bullying, it was the source of me getting bullied. It was just crazy, okay? I remember when I went to Imagineering to apply, and they saw my hair was bigger than me, they said, "Who the hell are you? What the hell are you?" is what they said. That's exactly what they said. What the hell are you? And in today's world, many of you can identify with that, can't you? What are you is something that comes out a lot, which is funny. You just kind of go, yeah, you're so good. But I will show you, this is what my hair looked like, and I'm standing, see what I mean? It's bigger than me. And that is all my hair, no mousse. That's just the way it grew, up more than down. And you can see why I got bullied. But this is me on the lawn at Imagineering, having a break with one of the guards at Imagineering's dog, who I loved very much, and my friend Frederica, who now lives in China. So anyway, there I am with my hair like this. So when Whoopi walks out, is it any surprise that she saw me amongst all these people waiting to watch her do her thing in cement? So she runs up to say hi, runs right up to the gate, and everybody is like, "Wow, here she's coming!" And she reaches out and she says, "Terri, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Night shoot." And she says, "Guys, I'm working with Terri on a movie, and here she is, my friend. And is your dad with you, Mr. Hardin? Are you here?" And my dad, my dad puffs up. He's so adorable. And he puffs up and he goes, "Hi, Whoopi." It was just so flippin' cute. I got to tell you, so flippin' cute. Here we are on the film. Here's Whoopi with me on the film. And my dear friend, Bruce Lanoyle, who is also a member of Terry's Tribe on Patreon. But here she is posing with me and Bruce on this movie. I told you, if you pay $1, you pay too much. But it's a fun little movie, and you can see we were having a grand old time. She's a rock star. I mean, all I can tell you is she's so much fun to be around, and I did 2 other films with her, and it was just as fun. But yeah, she was just a joy. But there she was, shouting out to my father and saying to my dad, she was saying, "Hey," to my father, and let me show you what my dad looks like so you guys can get an idea. Here's my father. So my dad said, "Hey, Whoopi, what's up?" And she was like, "Reggie, hi, Mr. Hardin." And she embraced him, and these ladies were, and after she went to do her thing and it was done, these ladies would not leave my dad alone. They wanted to hear the story again. They wanted to know, because now Whoopi had given my dad credibility. So, so what I mean to say is, if there's someone you like and someone you care about um, in the industry, don't be afraid of them. Go up and say hello. Be polite. Don't do it in the bathroom. I met Harrison Ford. He said that was probably the most awkward situation he has ever been in, is someone wanted to talk to him while he was at a urinal. Use common sense. And they're more than happy to talk to you. Don't talk to them if they're ordering a food or they're eating their meal. You can always wait for dessert and say hello. In the case of Samuel Jackson, I was at a restaurant with two friends, my friend Damian Morley. You've heard me talk about Damian. And at the time, his girlfriend, and I waved to Samuel. He walked in and I said, "Hey, Mr. Jackson, how you doing?" He spent the rest of the time while eating wondering where he had met me. So if you're watching, Samuel, you hadn't met me, but you'd see me around. So that's the thing. Okay, that's my little advice to you. If you want to be an Imagineer, animator, illustrator, cartoonist, comic book artist, do it. You have social media. Social media dates itself, doesn't it? Does Facebook not say? Does YouTube not say? 2 years ago, 1 year ago, your memories. Instagram does the same thing, guys. I can't talk about TikTok, but I'm sure they do too. So don't be an artist that's worried about someone stealing from you, okay? You can prove it if you need to. Disney's going to reach out to you. They have, if that's what you want to do. Create something, show your process, and say, I want to be an Imagineer. And then the next thing you know, Disney will be knocking, or somebody will be knocking that you want, and you just have to figure out what you're going to charge. Isn't that a lot more fun than, please, sir, may I have a job? Of course it is. Of course it is. So Star Wars was the life changer for me. And here's a few Star Wars things. While I was doing Star Wars, watching Star Wars, writing down people's names, I was doing these illustrations. I had my art pad and I sketched Mark Hamill, and I did a stormtrooper, and I built a Wookiee. Oops, what? Yes, I built a Wookiee, 7-foot Wookiee. Down at the bottom, there lifts. My feet actually are at the 2 colors. I knew the Wookiee was 2 colors because back in 1977, I had gone down to a place called Little Tokyo. And in Little Tokyo, I could order books from Japan, and Japan had no copyright laws. So I knew so they had dissected all of the Star Wars characters, the weapons, everything, and I could find them in a Japanese Starlog, which I still have today, by the way. I'll have to pull it out so you can see it. But that's how I knew the Wookiee was 2 colors and I could do 2 colors. Many people made him all 1 color, but he wasn't all 1 color in the original film. Then I did this character. I did A New Hope after seeing Empire Strikes Back. I wanted people to know that the New Hope was a woman, and I became that woman. I didn't realize it was going to be Princess Leia because Jedi hadn't come out yet. But here I am, cosplaying, as they call it now, as the New Hope. And you will notice this, whoops, come back. You'll notice on my belt is a lightsaber. I actually built that. That was built from a 1940s camera. That's what George Lucas used to make the lightsabers that you saw in the movie. And I figured that out, bought them before they went way up in price. And I made Darth Vader's lightsaber, and I made my own. I also stitched and did the gun belt, all of that handmade. And the puppet you see is Yoda. And I did a show with Yoda performing. And this is many of my friends. You know how it is if you're a cosplayer. You have your groups. And I took, there I am, my little name tag. A few friends back were waiting to do the costume event. And I'm going to do my Yoda and win and take Best of Show. Actually, spoiler, I took Best of Show. Yeah, here I am in a Galaxy's Edge. I don't know if you've known this book, but if you're watching and you happen to be that 1977 to 1981 crowd, you might be in this book called A Galaxy All Their Own, released in 2015 by the LA Times. And there I am after standing in line for 3 days at Empire Strikes Back, holding it. I got the first ticket, covered coast to coast. You'll notice my hair is an absolute mess because I was fighting and struggling, and you'll hear more of that story in my book. But I have a 3-page spread in here that features what the LA Times put in their newspaper about this crazy fan, Terri Hardin. And it's the article from May 22nd, 1980. So there it is, guys. Validation. And you can see I'm just so upset that they did this. But actually, no. And there it is. There's me. I'm at the very front of this line. This is the Egyptian Theater. And there I am here. And this is Channel 7. You see Channel 7 News interviewing me right there. They are one of many because of my craziness. So if you're a Star Wars fan, I will be telling you more about my book. It's going to come out next year because I want to put the stamps with it. This is a Disneyana fan club event where I am posing with it. And here I am. This is 2019. I'm wearing an actual replica that they did of the Star Wars crew jacket they wore on Hoth. And I am standing in Finse. Finse is Norway, and behind me is where they filmed the Hoth sequence of Empire Strikes Back. So climbing in the Tauntaun and staying warm, Luke Skywalker, and all that cool fun stuff. And I am standing right there at the gateway to the glacier that they filmed all of that, and taking a picture. So I'm super happy in my glass. And it says Norwegian unit. And then May hit to Terry is in Norwegian there to let people know it's me. And everybody on the train got a good laugh. I jumped off the train and took the picture very quickly in Finse. And then this is some of the other stuff that I'm into cosplay-wise. This is another thing, the San Diego Comic-Con. You know what that is? Yeah, I did a samurai warrior, and my husband at the time played a ninja, and we took Best of Show with that, doing sword play. I had trained for a while. I made the entire costume, everything. So here I am as the Catwoman. So I am a big cosplay costume maker. I can make and create anything from puppets. There I am as Magenta in the final sequence. I performed that at the Tiffany Theater for 2 years. And then here I am as Olga from Phoenix 2772, from the original creator of anime, that would be Osamu Tezuka. So there you are in the mermaid. I did a mermaid. That is my girl behind me. So let's just jump over here. Behind me is my mermaid tail. That actually swims in the ocean. So basically, here's this crazy girl, sees Star Wars, woohoo, makes a change. And I become this person who does Ghostbusters, does all this stuff, does all this crazy fun stuff. So I thought I'd share with you a little bit because Star Wars on my mind. And then we're going to segue into the Academy Awards because guess when they are? This Sunday. And I love movies. I will watch a movie over listening to music. I will watch a movie. I love films. And all genres. Gore. Not a real fan about gore. And I'm not a zombie person, even though my dear friend, Greg Nicotero, is the director of Walking Dead. And I love Greg Nicotero, and that was Greg's dream. I was working with Greg Nicotero on Men in Black and doing several other things. I did several other films with him. And he always wanted to do a zombie film. He dreamed of doing zombies. He kept saying, if I was a happy person, I'd build zombies. And here he got to be the director of The Walking Dead. So yay for Greg Nicotero. I was so excited for him. But he and I were buddies for quite some time. And we worked together for quite a while. And I did all kinds of wonderful stuff for him. And it was cool. So like I said, opportunity knocks, you walk through it, okay? And if you get cold feet, you reach out to me, okay? Comment to me, call, message me, Google me, you can find me, and I'll give you that pep talk you need so you'll walk through that door. You deserve it. You deserve it. If you want to do this, you deserve it, don't you? I think you deserve it. Anyway. Okay, so what am I going to show you today? What is it that I want to show you? I want to show you a couple of things. Have you heard about the David Prowse auction? David Prowse being the person inside the Darth Vader suit. Have you heard about this? No? Woohoo! I'm about to tell you about it, okay? Here it is. Let me just go. I want to go back to the top. Okay. David Prowse passed away, unfortunately, last year. We lost an amazing man. David he was the bodybuilder that was inside the Darth Vader suit as James Earl Jones voiced the character. If you already know this, bear with me. This is some cool stuff, okay? David really wanted to do the voice too, but when you get the opportunity to use James Earl Jones for any kind of voice, wouldn't you grab it? I would. And I would understand if James Earl Jones wanted to voice a character I was doing, I would be like, go, dude. Okay. But as a voice actor who a lot of times is replaced by voice actors as a puppeteer, well, Disney will say we need real voice actors, even though I am a voice actor. Yeah, what are you going to do? It's just really stupid. But anyway, you live with it, right? So David was one of these people that if you see Clockwork Orange or movies like that he was featured in, he talks, it doesn't work for Darth Vader. Honestly, I love him, but it doesn't really work for Darth Vader. But the first Darth Vader, the first Star Wars, episode 4, if you will, released in 1977, if you will, he wore a helmet. One of the reasons he was so good for this character is the helmet, the first helmet for Darth Vader weighed over 50 pounds. True story. If you are a Star Wars squid, like I was, you start to delve into stuff that's way beyond just the movie. You want to know everything about the chessboard. You want to know everything about the people doing it. I went into Rick Baker's career, Phil Tippett's career, anyone that was involved in it, from Lane Liska to Lance Anderson to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I was obsessed. Those of you who are Disney obsessed know what I mean. Those of you who are sports obsessed know what I mean. Obsession comes in many colors. So if you're a sports fan and you don't understand Disney, here's a light bulb for you. Just think about you painting your face 2 different colors if you're a Raiders fan and going and blah, 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 at a game, okay? It's no different. Just insert Disney passion where you have sports passion or Star Wars passion or Marvel passion. Don't judge each other. Just realize you all have your things that you love. Mine is Star Wars. There's other things. Godzilla. Love Godzilla. Love Godzilla. Yeah. And Astro Boy. Love Astro Boy. Love Kimba the White Lion. Love anything that's Dr. Tezuka. And actually have a illustrated, a hand-drawn character drawing from Dr. Tezuka, as well as a book that Dr. Tezuka did a drawing in for me based on a character. So big fan, and loved working with him as well. So back to David Prowse. So 50-pound helmet. And then in Empire Strikes Back, they did this man a favor and made him a lighter helmet. Not easy to do. If you talk to the people, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, about the Ghostbusters backpacks, part of that was actual car parts, meaning heavy for the first Ghostbusters, the one that I played the terror dog in, right? Now they're not as heavy. People take castings of them and make them lighter. So if you're out there doing cosplay and you're finding those things, take a mold of them and cast them lighter so you're not killing your back. They did have rubber ones, so when they're climbing up the stairs or when it was farther shots, that would help them. But I don't know what it is. When you do a first thing, you're just kind of cobbling together. We call it kit bashing, things that look right and look good and work. So that was the case with the original helmet for Darth Vader and his pieces. You can see when he's walking through the spaceship, they're scuffed a little bit. That's because they're made out of metal. And good thing David Prowse was a bodybuilder because he could carry them well. But in Empire Strikes Back, they did, as I said, they made a casting and made it easier. And if you see the scene where he's saying, "Luke, come with me," in Empire Strikes Back, the helmet is going like this. You will see that it's fluttering because it's so light. It's a bit too light for that. Too lightweight is what I'm talking about. So why am I telling you all of this? David Prowse, who passed away, his estate has created an auction, and that auction will commence on May the 4th. But you can go here and see what he's got available. And I created a banner that I'm going to put up now for you so that you can go there and see it for yourself. Okay, David Prowse auction. Here it is. A Britain auction. Okay, why would you do this? I don't know. Maybe so you could see this. And here it is. Here is the auction site I am giving you right below. Here is a lovely picture of Vader, and it shows it's going to be live. It shows where it's going to be in the United Kingdom. And even if you can't afford this stuff, wouldn't it be fun to go there and take a look at what David Prowse had in his actual Star Wars collection? I don't know about you, but I thought this was a cool thing. And I did it. Let's see. Okay, so it's at the top of, we're almost at an hour, but I really did want to share this with you. Talks about the cards and stuff, but here are some of the things that are being offered. Now, David Prowse was in a lot of films, so his estate is not only doing Star Wars stuff, they're doing other stuff that he was in. So including down here, you'll see, let me just scroll a little bit for you. Here is a picture of him in A Clockwork Orange. So like I told you, he was in A Clockwork Orange. Warning that films like that are very bizarre and weird. But you got a lot of things here that there's a cartoon that somebody did, and there's a book he wrote, and posters that he signed, and the people he worked with, like Peter Mayhew and Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, they all seem to have signed some things for him here. And let's see, David Prowse signed 8x10. What else do we got? We have the Mark Hamill dedicated signed poster. That's over here if you're a big fan. And right now, this Mark Hamill poster is going for a lot, baby. It's 4,100, whatever the currency is for Great Britain, right? So I don't know if it's they don't, yeah, it's Great Britain money. So you'd have to kind of figure that out, but there you go. And there's a signed Kenner figure he did. That's kind of funny. I think I would spend more money for the Kenner figure, but that's just me. Over here, there's all kinds of stuff, just all really cool stuff that I think you guys will really enjoy. I went as the Wookiee for a contest, and David Prowse was giving out the awards, and he asked me out because I was tall. I was in the Wookiee suit. He didn't realize I was on lifts. And that was kind of a fun experience, as I told him, no, I'm in lifts and thank you, but no. People have an idea of what they like. But as you can see here, there's lots of cool stuff. And why don't you go over there and take a look and see what there is to offer. I thought you would enjoy it. That's happening on May the 4th. May the 4th has got a lot of stuff happening, guys. And, you go into Disneyland there. Who knows what's there? The release of the stamp, as I spoke about, which is going to be a lot of fun. You can pre-order that, and then you can watch this auction, which I think would be very cool. Personally, I thought David Prowse was the perfect person to be in the suit of Darth Vader, and it was a lot of fun to know he was in there. And just another fun Star Wars fun fact. And then to wrap up this hour with Star Wars fun facts, and we'll get into the Ask Me Anything. Those of you who are saying, when are you going to get to the questions? Yeah, well, everything is different. Like I said, it's kind of a watercolor situation. But I hope you enjoyed the stories in the beginning. Let me just wrap it up with a few things you might be interested in. Here is a model I built in 1977. This is an actual 1977 MPC model kit. How do I know that? Because right up here is 1977. I don't know how well the focus can bring it in, but the box says 1977. And you can see it's in pretty doggone good condition because that's just me. But here it is. And yesterday I showed this to a couple of Star Wars fans I was with, and they love the font. When I open it, here is the built little model, And what is the real keen thing is so see they were talking how funny the font was. Okay. But this is the actual instruction sheet, yellowy, showing you how to build it. And I did build it, as you saw. And then if you flip this over right here, you can see 1977. Okay. So, if this is something you must have, just reach out to me. We'll work something out. Okay. But, it's really cute and cool. There's no tears in my box. See, because I'm that type of gal. I had a Darth Vader, but I sold him to and why am I selling him? Because I want them to go to people who will love on these things, and you'll see here that the glue from the time this door opens and closes, you got to kind of tilt it to open and close that door. But it does. There it is. And it has fun little gizmos in there. You can kind of see one of them's rolling around. I put all this in. You'll also notice that the glue is a little yellowy because back then they didn't have true clear glue. I mean, it was clear at the time, but he does actually sit like he's supposed to. So here he is sitting like he's supposed to. Move over T. And his head turns. So basically it's Terri saying, I did that right, as you make the sounds. But here he is completely built. I maybe as a young person, I might have not built him so that you could build him. But honestly, I wanted to build him. I did an X-Wing, sold my X-Wing that I had built from 1977. But if this is something that interests you, I'm more than happy, would love to this piece looks like it needs to go somewhere. Oh, yes, here it is. That's where it went. Yeah, I see. Okay. So we'll make sure that goes there. Or I'll leave it for you to glue in, I'm not going to take it from you. But I have all the pieces here. And he's held up pretty well, hasn't he? For 1977, hasn't he? Yes, he has. He's held up quite well. And if it's something you must have, a little bit of nostalgia, here he is. And just reach out to me if you want to. But in any case, I thought you'd like to see him because he's really cute and he works and he's lovely. So, and the box is fun and it is from my time in those early days. And it might be something that I hold on to and present when my book is done. So it's no big deal because if it's something you want, it'll go, we'll work something out. And if it's not, I'll just hang on to it as I've done for how many years? 87, that's 10 years. 97, that's 20 years. 2007, that's 30 years old. 2017, that's 40 years old. You get the picture? A little old do right here. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then I mentioned that, let me move my chair over because I need wiggle room. Then I mentioned that on my 100th viewing of Star Wars at the Chinese theater, they pulled this poster off of the Chinese marquee. They opened the glass and they pulled this poster off and gave it to me. Okay. So here it is. And I got to tell you, it hung in the Chinese for a full year. All right. So it's faded. It's faded and it's chewed up. I mean, look, it's all chewed up because they had to peel it off. So it's chewed up, right? And I thought it had been autographed by David Prowse, but I realized my script was autographed by David Prowse, and I sold that in auction in 2007. So I no longer have my David Prowse auction, autograph, which is why I thought to pull this out, because I thought David had signed this, but he didn't. But it did get signed. And again, like I said, I need room to move. This is huge. Look at how huge this is, guys. Hi. It's huge. So it was given to me by the Chinese theater in 1977, 78. And Anthony Daniels presented it to me. And there he is. Anthony Daniels autograph right here. See? Should do this. No, I should do. Anyway, I'm looking in my reflection to tell you, but here's his autograph right here. Here he identifies who he is, and he said, "Congratulations, Terri." So that's the autograph on the back. You can also see there's tears and stains because that's the way they pulled it off of the actual. When you walk into to see the theater, on the side it has all their posters. There was a second version of this that I was given too, that had like Moff Tarkin and a couple other people on it. I think C-3PO was on there too. Can't remember, but that could be rolled, and so that was sold in auction. But this one stayed because I think a lot of people didn't really fully understand what this was, so they didn't bid on it. But it's a really cool thing to have, because again, in 1977, they pulled this off at my 100th viewing of Star Wars and gave it to me. And it's very special. It's very, very, very special. And I'm super grateful because it has what this really looks like. And I bought myself a flight suit at Galaxy's Edge, and I'm gonna build this. So thank you, Mark Hamill, young Mark Hamill, for that. And so there it is. I know how much you like history, so I thought I'd show you a little bit of history. My whole life is a little bit of history. History! I have more. If you like it, post in the comments, and I'll show you more history. It doesn't have to be Star Wars history. It could be Disney history. It could be history in general. Did I mention that I saw the Beatles in 1969 at the Hollywood Bowl? Yes, the Beatles. John, George, Ringo, Paul. As a little kid, my dad took me because I was a big Beatles fan back then. So yeah, this is a wacky life. This is what I'm talking about. But enough about all of that. Let's get to your Ask Me Anythings. Leo Holzer. Let's see. Leo Holzer's been waiting patiently. Thought I should talk about the Academy Awards today. I will try to bounce back and forth so that my thumbnail doesn't look like I've baited you. But the last hour has been about Star Wars and stamps like that. So I think I've delivered, right? Right. The reason I go so long on these is because of the pandemic, and we are going to start to shorten them. And before I forget, please send me your dinosaur stories, Dinosaurs, the TV show. I would love it if you would send me a story about you liking it, your kids liking it, something. Maybe you just are a big Baby Sinclair person. There we go. And if you are, I was just going to pop over here on my screen here and show you. Pardon me. Here we are. Team Baby Sinclair. So if you like this television show, Not the Mama, Not the Mama, Not the Mama, please write to me a story, Terri at terrihardin.com. I'm going to be doing a giveaway of, again, more nostalgia. This back in time is 1993. So I have a TV guide. I have a few things from 1993 that will... you might like having some buttons, some magazines, all in mint condition, a calendar, etc., etc., etc. So if you want it, please hand in your stories, and hopefully the beginning of May, I will announce some winners. And I just love you. You still have time to submit, basically, is what I'm saying. Okay? So, okay, that announcement is complete. So, Leo wrote and said, Sunday is the Academy Awards. Have you ever been to the Academy Awards? Have you ever done the Academy Awards? Do you even know what the Academy Awards are? No, I'm kidding. And I said, of course, I am an Academy Award nut, but I'm trying to find, he gave me the paperwork, and for some reason I can't find it now, which is really, oh, here it is. Here it is. It's stuck together. Must be the ink. So Leo was able to find me a ballot to mark your ballot if you're going to do an Academy Award deal, right? So let's see some of the questions that he had. Have I ever been to an Oscars in person? Several Oscar parties, but never the Oscars in person. However, remember I told you my father was the first Black telephone man in Hollywood? So he used to run lines for the Academy Awards back then. And my mother used to go to the rehearsals. And she met a ton of people that she loved. She went to the rehearsals when I was a little kid. So that would be 60s and 70s. Yeah, pretty cool. The rehearsals are super fun because the actors have time to talk with you. So my mother had a really good opportunity. So although I didn't get to do it, my mom did. My dad made that happen for her because my mom also loves the movies. He also asks, have you ever been to any of the big after parties? None of the big after parties. I did do a, I wonder if I have it. I don't know if I put it in my repertoire. I should have, because it's another one of those pivotal things in my life. But I built a giant King Kong for the front of the Chinese theater. And I have a picture where I met Fay Wray. So the 1933 King Kong and Fay Wray, who is the girl in the Gorilla's Paw, she actually at the 50th anniversary posed in the paw, and I had helped with a team of people. We built the paw and we built the big ape, and we had a big event. And there was a huge Hollywood party after the 50th over at the Hollywood theater that's across from Hamburger Hamlet on Hollywood Boulevard. What's it called? I think it's like the Hollywood. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but at that hotel we were there, and I met, Leave It to Beaver. I met Beaver. And I couldn't get over how much Beaver looked like Beaver big. It was just like they blew up Beaver. Not blew up as in, but, enlarged the Beav. You just couldn't miss it. He looked just like little Beaver. He could have put his hat on, and I would have known exactly who he was. I got to meet him. I found that quite fun. And the other one was Hugh Hefner. And I got to tell you, one thing about Hugh Hefner is you're never going to not know who Hugh Hefner is, because he has a gorgeous girl on each arm. And he was walking through. They were in stunning dresses. Yes, they were clothed. And it was great to meet him. He was a lot of fun. I didn't think he would be so much fun, but he really was fun. And the ladies were fun too. And I think that was a big moment for me to meet him, because I had just by the nature of who he is and founder of Playboy, I had made my preconceived notions about him. And we really shouldn't do that, should we? Because the person could be different from his or her brand. When I met Harrison Ford, we met at a charity event, and Harrison Ford said, if you're an actor, it's not you personally, it's your brand. So if someone is writing a bad review about what you've done, it's about your brand, not necessarily you. So don't ingest it. A lot of actors find this difficult, or performers find this difficult because they take it personally. But Harrison Ford says you keep it at arm's length, or that's your main goal. You can't always do it, because sometimes people can be pretty harsh, can't they? But he said if you keep it like that, and remember it's your product, not you, that you are showing, you are doing. Jimmy Fallon, I haven't met him, but I can almost imagine that he's probably more of a quiet, pensive soul, but his character on television is very different, isn't it? But that's his product, okay? Jay Leno's product. When we spent some time with Jay Leno, he's a car-loving geek. And he is so adorable to see someone like that, who you've seen on TV nationally, just cutting it up, a wonderful comedian. But yet during your coffee talk, your quiet time, he's just a fella. Many of these people are just fellas and just ladies, and they have a different life. So Harrison Ford, spot on, Han Solo, if you will. See if I tied in that Star Wars. So I'm going to keep you Star Wars people happy. But he said, if you're a performer, it's about your product, not you. And Sidney Poitier said the same thing. However, Sidney Poitier also said, if I will be able to partake upon you, a little words of wisdom from the greats of the greats, saying to you that you have an obligation as an actor to be on your best behavior whenever you're out. Because your fans can make you and your fans can break you. Isn't that the truth? So a reputation Sidney Poitier said, and he's absolutely right. A reputation is very hard to keep and very easy to destroy. So you have to be careful, okay? You have to be careful. So there you go. There's my segue. Yeah, it was great talking to Harrison Ford. I was saying yesterday on a podcast, he gave me a Blade Runner t-shirt because he was so surprised at the questions I had for him. And it blew him away. He sat at my booth because he was just, most of the time his face was like, and he enjoyed talking to me, which was very special for me. I thought he was what was it like to be on the cutting edge of a movie that has changed not only the way people look at films, but the way people look at fashion, the way people advertise, and it is solely responsible for blowing the doors off of the film industry for things like Marvel, for fantasy, Game of Thrones. I don't think it could have been done if it wasn't for Star Wars, because people back then, during that love story stage, didn't believe that there was enough of us geeks to make a difference if they would do these kind of space films. But George Lucas proved them wrong, didn't he? So what was it like to be that team? Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford and George Lucas, a gang together, bonded together. Thank you, Fox, for doing, Alan Ladd, and for getting Star Wars to be made. George Lucas didn't give up. He had to knock on a lot of doors. First door he knocked on was Universal. They said no. You know how they're kicking themselves now. Every studio that said no to the original Star Wars was like, what was I thinking? I thought it was going to be junk. But to have all of these inspiring artists come together and bring to it this wonderful film called Star Wars, that must have been a really cool thing. And I can tell you, as a person who sat in the theater bored to death with love stories and hungry for science fiction, horror, and fantasy, and all I had was 2001: A Space Odyssey, Space 1999, Star Trek, all good, but nothing big. 2001 would put me to sleep. Although beautiful, although fascinating, although wonderful, put me to sleep every time. So when Star Wars came out, it was a young man, George Lucas, who loved the dogfights of the early films and decided to create this with John Dykstra, and the rest is history. And thank you for doing it, because it has made this whole genre called Star Wars. It changed the way we look at everything, guys. Star Wars fault, all Star Wars fault. So hooray! Now, if Disney would stop messing with it and doing bad and just give it to Favreau so that we can have more things like Mandalorian, we'd be happy, wouldn't we? Yes, we would. Okay, so here we go. All right. So to tell you, I've seen everything on here, almost everything, because one thing you can thank the pandemic for is that we haven't been able to go and see these things. And so a lot of times the Academy Awards will show animated short features to animators of short features, visual effects to visual effects artists, actors' films to actors, actresses, etc. But because we're in a pandemic, we've gotten to see a lot more, haven't we? And it's been great. So I've been able to see documentary features, which I love documentaries. I was able to see a few, but never able to see them all, and I've seen most of them. I was able to see a lot of international films that I haven't been able to see. I was able to see short subjects that I wasn't able to see before. I will say, though, I was kind of sad because I haven't been able to see Pinocchio, which is under makeup and hairstyling. I haven't been able to see some of the short animated films that I really wanted to see. I think the one that I got to see was If Anything Happens, I Love You, but I haven't been able to see the others. I have seen a couple of documentary shorts, which I thought were great. The love song for Letitia was amazing. So there was a lot of cool things that I thought were wonderful. So just look, this is the Rotten Tomatoes list. if you're looking for a list and you want to vote on these. One of the things that was kind of sad was a lot of them were kind of downer movies. I would have liked to see a lot more exciting movies. But I will tell you right now that the animated features, of which I've seen all but Wolf Walkers is on Apple TV, and I don't have Apple TV. But I saw all the others. And Soul is a part of that group. But one of the ones that really jumped out at me that I absolutely loved was Farmageddon. So if you haven't seen Farmageddon, it's on Netflix. Oh, it's so flippin' cute. So it's lovely. So let's see what you have to say, okay? Let's see what some of the questions you are asking or saying, and then we'll get back to the Academy Awards or Star Wars or whatever, okay? I often jump, again, I'm Terri Hardin, legendary, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer, Muppet puppeteer, voiceover actor, author, speaker, yada, yada, yada. Google me. Seriously, Google me. I actually have a Wikipedia page. But anyway, welcome. And I always jump over to see how you in the audience are feeling and what I can do to service to help you. If you have anything you'd like to hear from me or me to talk about, post it in the comments. Email me, terri@terrihardin.com, and I'll be happy to chat about it, okay? All right. Hi, you folks. Hello, Tracy. Hello, theme park gals. TGIF, yes, Angie. It's good to hear from you. Good to see you. I remember seeing Star Wars the second day of its opening with my dad. We were like, this movie looks as good as any. Our life changed. We were shocked. Yeah, you were shook. Yeah. I often hope for today's youth that they will be impacted as strongly by a film as we were impacted by Star Wars. I don't know if that's possible, because with CG, computer generation, there's really nothing you can't do, is there? But if you're out there and you weren't born during the time of Star Wars, or you've not seen the earlier films, or you were too young to realize what this was to all of us that saw it, let me know a film that maybe impacted you the way you think we were impacted by Star Wars. Seriously, the room stretched. We could not breathe. It was so beyond. It was so before its time. And now when many of you watch it, you may think it's clunky, but everything had to be done practical. There was no computer. The stuff that Dykstra did with his Dykstraflex camera was innovative and cutting edge. So you have to put your brain back in 1977 to appreciate Star Wars, especially if you're from this computer-generated era. But if you are from this era, let me know if there's a movie that you feel maybe impacted you the same way that Star Wars impacted all of us, won't you? Because I would love to hear what that might be. That would really be cool. Yeah. Theme Park Gals talk Star Wars on our latest video as well. We were going to the park on May 2nd, and we are going to Disney bound Star Wars. Yes. Which reminds me, thank you, Theme Park Gals. Rise of the Resistance is open. Ralph, he might even be on here. Machi, M-A-C-H-I. Forgive me, Ralph, if I'm crucifying your name and you're on here. He went yesterday to Disney for a pre-show opening, and he announced that Rise of the Resistance was available, and he also announced that you can make your reservations on your reservation day for Rise of the Resistance at 7 a.m. Say that quickly, Terri. Okay, so 7 a.m., you can get on it like you did before the pandemic and get yourself a boarding group. Connect all your people together, your little pod together, and you can do on your boarding group. Now, if you miss out at 7 a.m., you'll get another chance at 12 p.m. So that was what he found out and realized by doing it, and also by checking in with who? MiceChat.com. MiceChat's got their finger on the pulse. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. So they're helping you all things Disney and all things Disneyland. So go over there and watch them. They're very good. And that's where I've been kind of taking a look, because I'm a big fan of Dusty's and all of MiceChat over there. I used to write blogs for them, and I'd like to do that again. I just need to keep them shorter. But If you want to do Rise of the Resistance, it's going to be the same. Get in the Disney app, get your boarding group, same deal you did before the pandemic, but there's going to be less people. So your chances are, of course, going up. So you want to do that. Also, if you have a 2-park hopper ticket, what's probably going to happen is you'll be in Disneyland pool for a while, then you'll jump over and swim to California Adventure. Now, what's happening with these pre-events with cast members is that we're doing this kind of thing. You know, that water thing that they have that jumps like this? This is what we're going to be doing. Some of the people are in Disneyland, some of the people are in California Adventure, and they'll at around, the afternoon time, we'll switch. So that'll be kind of cool. I am going on Tuesday, April 27th. Yes, a cast member has smiled down upon me and invited me to go. So for those of you who are out of California and want to go, I will do some, I will try to do some live recording, but I'll also do some video, and then I'll post it on my YouTube channel and to Facebook, etc., so that you guys can see. And anything I find out, I will let you guys know, okay? Because I want you guys to have some fun. I told my cast member friend that I rode Rise of the Resistance. I loved it. And if she could get the opportunity to, with her group, to get them in and not me, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I'm excited to be in the gates and seeing the people that are going to be there. Honestly, that's me. I go for the people, I'll ride a ride or two. I really want to ride the Jungle Cruise because I hear it has these partitions between people. So I got to check that out. But that's kind of me, this curious thing. What did they do? How did they do it? So I will be letting you know that. But just so you know, if you want to do your Rise of the Resistance, and I know this means a lot to you, a lot of you Star Wars people out. Again, Star Wars is filtered, so see, I told you, my thumbnail's good. This is a way you can do it. 7 a.m. So you can do it from the comfort of your hotel room, having a coffee before you pop over to Disneyland. Whatever your plans are, you can do this early, and you will have a second opportunity at 12 p.m. So thank you for all that information, Joe. Okay, what else have we got here? So that's what I think the theme gals are talking about. They're on their way to that. They sell first day canceled envelopes on the website. Exactly, Brandon. That's exactly what they do on the USPS website. But if you are someone who is a total first day cover squid, I'm going to be illustrating these. I'm an official cachet maker, so I do cachets. First day cover cachets are illustrations or things you put in the space next to the DCP. So I do the illustrating and the art on these. I've done several, and I've won 2 years in a row at the contest. I did not enter the contest this year because I wanted to focus specifically on this Star Wars batch of stamps. This is going to be a lot of work for me. I did hand-drawn, hand-painted pieces before. These will probably be hand-drawn and hand-painted. And so that meaning that I've got a lot of work ahead of me because it's 10. They don't do 10 color cancellations usually. So thank you, Star Wars. But they're doing it this time. So I have to figure out what my illustrations are going to do and how do I tie this major palette together. But more on that. I'll start to show you as I develop them if you're interested. But yes, Brendan is correct. You can go to USPS.com and pre-order your first day covers and stamps. You don't have to run to the post office. But if you want to run to the post office, let me just exit out of here for a moment and show you another little secret. May I show you another little secret? Okay. All right. Here we go. Forgive me. It should say chapter. May the 4th, Star Wars stamp info. Go to the Claude Series chapter on Facebook. That's chapter again. And they're going to talk about how you can get that red roundator, which is a big thing in the stamp collecting world. Or if you're not, and you just want to experience it like I did, there you go. So that's just an extra little yummy thing. Okay. If you're into this, but you can go like Brandon was saying, let me just pop up his comment again. These canceled envelopes, you can pre-sell them, and on the 4th, they send them to you. Okay? And they're under 18 bucks. You get all 10. Okay? There's also the black and white. So don't be confused. The post office always does a black and white cancellation, and they do these color. But this is very unique to do a color, what they call digital color postmark. They did 10 of them this time. So you're going to get the R2D2 stamp canceled with the R2D2 postal cancellation. Okay, you follow me? But if you want to add to that, well, you can't really add to that. Well, you could, but it's in reverse. But you could go to the post office, get the stamps, bring your envelope, stick the stamps on, and get the red round dater. I had to pause for a minute. And the people at this Reese chapter will tell you how to do that. Okay, if you want to have some fun and you want to learn what they're going to do, you can learn about it there. Okay, and thank you, Brendan, for reminding me of that. Crystal says, "Hi, Terry. Ash and I loved chatting with you last night. Yeah, it was the best. And thank you for joining me. It was the best. These two ladies are a couple of voice actresses, and we sat and did a podcast, and I will let you know when their podcast is going to pop up. But I told her about this, and she's pre-ordering the stamps. She's going to get those envelopes because she's a Star Wars nut. So I want anyone who's a Star Wars nut to get in on the action, guys. That's why I talk to you about Star Wars. That's why Star Wars was on the brain a lot right now, okay? And it's mainly because when is it not on my brain? And now that I think about it, I was writing the book, and then I got the stamps. I was talking with Michael, NJ Luzzy, who is my contact for all things stamps. And I just decided that would be a fun thing to talk about today. So I did. Thank you for the heads up about them. Story is incredibly inspiring. They are sweet girls. They are just lovely girls. And they were not born in 77, just so you know, or before, and to see it. They are just, good morning. Have a nice weekend. So Bob has popped in to wish you all a nice weekend. What you can do, guys, what you can do. What? And here is Michael Joseph Luzzy, or MJ Luzzy, all things stamps. So there you go. So here he is here. Hopefully he's still here, but I did my good deed to let you all know. If you really want to go all out and get the red round dater that says it's a cancellation that's round and uses red ink, and it says May the 4th, 2021, and you'll have that on your envelope. But you won't have it on these envelopes. I don't think you'll get it on the ones that you've pre-ordered because they're being sent to you on the 4th. They cannot send them to you early. So you have to do the work. You have to go to the post office, get the stamp in a location that has that red round dater. This is what Michael has been saying. But if this is confusing to you because I'm going through it a little bit quickly, go to the chapter Facebook page and you can learn more. Okay. I love to send you to places where you can go get more information. It's my job. Yes. What is your opinion on Disney needing to redo Tomorrowland, or as we call it, 90s Land at Disneyland? I wish they'd left it alone. Truth be told, let's talk Tomorrowland. I've met so many millennials. Forgive me if you don't like to be called a millennial, but that's how I identify you, and forgive me if that's not cool. But I mean minimalists, people who are kind of minimal, who want the things in their house to be what they love and not too cluttery. Don't want to fill their house with a bunch of stuff, but just choice things. And y'all love retro. You love the 50s. You love the 60s. But you guys are gaga over the 50s. Okay, here's how I know. You remember that silver Christmas tree where you had to stick the silver? We had one. My friend Josie has one. And we had a garage sale, and she had tons of 50s, 60s items in the garage sale. And I made an announcement because I knew there were a lot of young people out there who love the 50s. They got percolators, A percolator is a thing that makes coffee, and it goes bloop, 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 bloop at the top, plugs in. Yeah, they don't make them anymore. But but that sort of thing. You guys love the Walkmans, you know, all of these things that are retro, right? So Tomorrowland was done in the 50s. So why not just have left it alone? The actual gangway that takes you up to the rocket ship, and the rocket ships fly above you, not on the ground like some carnival ride, right? It's that way in Japan, by the way, guys. So if you go to Tokyo, they're still up in the air. Love you, Tokyo, Japan. So you can do it there, but that's kind of what I felt. I felt like covering over Mary Blair's art was just a crime. Personally, I don't know where their heads were at when they changed everything from the 50s, because I think all of that decor, if you look at the 1950s decor, and honestly, if you've got a book, and if I have a couple, I'll pull them out, and maybe I even have some Disney pictures of me standing there at that time. But if you do, feel free to share them, because honestly, when you look at that Tomorrowland back then, it was super cool. You know, it was super cool. And I just don't know if the choice to change it. So I kind of would like to see it go back a little bit and figure out a way to bring back Journey Through Inner Space, because that was one of the funnest rides for me. And the flying saucers, the little flying saucers. You know, you got to bring back the flying saucers, okay? Because as a little kid, I didn't go. Forgive me. I did not, as a little kid, I was in the flying saucers and they broke down all the time, and I never got out of them. I just flat refused to get out of my little flying saucers. So I'm going to see if I can find an example for you to see my flying saucers. I'm digging here. Yep. Because honestly, yes, here we go. Here we go. These are them. Have you seen these? I know a lot of you have probably seen these. Let me hide this. These were the flying saucers. It took a computer that filled a building to make them operate. Today, they could simply be chips. Computer chips to do this. Now, I know you saw the tire thing where they had lots of people. That's not it, guys. You had one adult in here, or you had kids. And when the machine broke down, I would just sit. You had to literally pull me from these little flying saucers. They floated across the ground. You see how they tilt here? They were a blast. And I would love for them to bring these back. This was my favorite ride as a little kid. Remember, I'm a sci-fi squid, a space squid. So those little flying saucers were super special to me. So to answer your question, ladies, that's what I would do. Would it make everybody happy? I don't know, but that's my answer. Brendan, the USPS has for decades, but many folks make their own. And we are members of the AFDCS. Now, many of you are going, Aphiticus? What is Aphiticus? So let me tell you what Aphiticus is. It's the American A, first F, day D, cover C, society S. AFDCS. So there you go. American First Day Cover Society. And they are everything First Day Covers. They're the people that you can join. They're the people that you can learn everything about First Day Covers, as I did. And they're a great group of people who love all things stamps. And they all have what they collect. They all have what they love. They all have what they make as cachets. Cachet makers will make cachets to sell. Cachet makers will make cachets to trade. Cachets to give away. And they're all very, very clever, including Michael's. Michael, MJ, likes Hollywood history, and film celebrities, another film person, etc., etc., etc. I liked dragons. Last year, I liked the railroad, so I did Walton Ward. I did a Walton Ward cachet. And for those of you who don't know what that cachet is or what that means, here is my First Day Cover cachet that won the First Day Cover Society's first place last year. Here you see the cancellations. So the one that says this one right here, that's the color DCP. And on the other side is the black and white DCP. See? Okay, so and it says the date that they were canceled, May 10th, 2019. And this is my illustrations of Walt and Ward Kimball, because I knew that I never met Walt, but I knew Ward Kimball very well. And so I wanted to put them on Train Enthusiasts. And then this is to commemorate the railroads coming together and the Golden Spike. If you're interested in these, go to terrihardin.com, look at the gallery, look at online store, and they're there for sale. You get both of them. You get both of them numbered. So there you go. And there's others there too. So, but that was and then this year I'm still going to do probably a little bit of Bugs Bunny and a little bit of the Chinese New Year's stamps, but I didn't want to enter the contest. I want to really focus on Star Wars. So that was my decision, and yay. So there you go. How about that? Brittany says, do you think Carol Baskin really fed her husband to those tigers? Wow. Anything is possible, isn't it? Wow. I don't know. Is there any evidence that says she actually did? I got to tell you, I don't know. Tigers are tough. Did you see that video of the woman who shot the mountain lion in the snow? And I didn't get to see what she said, but here's the thing. If you see a wild animal in heavy snow, they're starving. No, seriously, they're starving. So don't stand and Facebook film them, okay? You could be lunch or dinner later. You are much slower than these big cats. So to answer your question, Brittany, I don't know, but they are creatures who, if hungry enough, will attack man. Yeah. We've seen it, haven't we? Grim Grinny Tracy says, hi, Angie Floyd. Terry needs a mod for trolls. What? Gotcha, says Brendan. Yeah, I love the way you guys chat. And here's Joseph. Joseph is the one who imparted me on, let me know so I could let you know how to be a part of Rise of the Resistance. How are you? Oh, you're socially distancing on Small World. Have a great day. Yes, he's doing yesterday and today. Isn't that something? And he just sort of chimes in to give me any kind of new development or anything he thinks I might enjoy hearing about. Bless him. He's just been a world. He's been a world of information. And I'm so grateful to you, Joseph. Love your smile when you speak about your father. It makes me smile and happy. Yeah, my dad's my hero. Okay, my dad is my hero. He taught me that poison isn't effective unless you take it. I think that's one of the big things my father said. And be the best you can be, because if there's someone out there who's afraid of people of color, then you have to be the best people of color that you can be and educate them on it's not about the skin tone, and it's not about the preferences, and it's not about whether you are a them or a she or a he. It doesn't matter. If you're a nice person, that's why I want to know you. If you're a jerk, then you need to just stay over there. Life is too short to spend time with people who are abusive and unkind and jerky. You can't always do that with bullies, can you, though? A bully targets you, and there you are, targeted, and you're thinking, what? But what I learned being bullied so much was that it's usually about the bully. Isn't that weird? The bully has got some sort of twisted thing going on in their life, and they take it out on you because they're nuts. Okay, how else can we say it? What is working in the mind? It's not, okay? But it's usually something that has to do with them that doesn't make you feel any better when you're being bullied. But it was a surprise to me because you sit there and you go, what is it about me? Okay. And we had a talk about this yesterday on the podcast with Ashley and Crystals. We talked about how if you have something that isn't that is different from everybody else. Let me say it like that. You wonder it's you, and you start to try to change about you, like me wanting to change my hair that went up like this. I wanted to go down like Mary Tyler Moore and most white people. Okay. But it doesn't matter how long I wanted it, it was still there. And now I realize it's what made me special. That moppet of hair. Dolly Parton actually walked up and wanted to know what kind of mousse I used. Yes, I met Dolly Parton. She's amazing. She's lovely. She's fabulous. And not more good words of wisdom from Dolly Parton. Okay, be kind to everybody. Okay, but you never know where they're going to be in a year or two. That's really, really good advice. Okay. But the point is why would you swim upstream like a salmon, being nasty and mean to everybody? So the person, when they're not looking, spits in your soup because you were a jerk, or gives you too tight a shoe, or says I can't help you because you're being mean. Why not be nice so that they feel you go that extra mile, they go that extra mile. You do something nice for someone else, it's going to make you feel better. But why is it if we're bullied, we're trying to change it about us when it's not usually about us? It's things we can't change. If someone is abusing you because you're Asian, it's not like you can shapeshift and become something else. And then why would you? You are proud of being what you are, and you get to stand strong. So this is craziness. This is just craziness. And my father, my support, my strong rock, taught me poison isn't effective unless you take it. So lead with love. And he was at a time when adversity was a real occurrence back at the time my dad was a phone man for Hollywood. Throughout his life, yeah. But he was the best person he could be. And when doors of opportunity were there, he walked through them. So, I don't know if that helps, but it sure helped me. So thank you, Bob Burdine, for that. My dad is my hero. I was at the footprint ceremony for the droids too so long ago. Yeah, right? Was that the most fun ever? That was so fun. That was really, really fun. How do you guys feel about stars going out to sports figures? I think it's a little weird. I don't think we have enough sidewalk, actually. But I know how much a lot of you guys love sports. And the speculation was who was going to get the first star. And yeah, I think it's going to be, I don't know. I think Michael Jordan is one of those people that's pretty up there. But we'll see. I'm not into the sports fan. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see my Milwaukee Bucks brothers. They're good friends of mine, and I love them both to death. And that would be neat to see their star ceremony. But I don't know. I'm mixed worlds. I always thought of that as kind of a movie thing. But why keep them out? Fun is fun, right? Right. So I don't know. I'm not surprised at all of Whoopi doing that. Nah, yeah, it was great. When I got on that first movie, the producers were mean. And Whoopi just created that lovely barrier around us and protected all of us that were puppeteers. As a puppeteer, a lot of times it can be a struggle. Some people think of you as crew more than talent, and so it can be a challenge. But Whoopi made sure we were thought of as talent, and she took such good care of us. And I'm grateful to her for being that person. Every day I see her, I just love her. I just love her. She did so much for all of us while we were working on the film. At the time of the film, I met a lot of people because Whoopi knows everybody, and at the time it was Timothy Dalton, I think, that was playing James Bond, and I come around the corner to get ready to film this funny little film that we're doing that's not that great, even if you pay $1. But anyway, they had a lot of great people in it. This is the thing. Even if the movie's bad, it was fun to shoot. You're going to find that a lot of movies you think are just terrible were really fun to shoot. This was middle of the road, but there were some really fun sequences, But Timothy Dalton, I think, was James Bond, and she was talking to him when I came around the corner, and I went, James Bond, Whoopi, you know James Bond? And he straightened up and gave the biggest smile. We're all human, aren't we? And it was really, he was just like, and I got to shake hands with James Bond. Whoopi also punked me pretty good. I'm not a fan of Gore. Oh gosh, his name went out of my head. Probably because I'm not a fan. But I'll think about him I'll think of him in a minute. And she knew him, and she invited him to the set. And when she introduced me, I had to tell him what I thought, which was I didn't think his books were that great, but it was hilarious. It was hilarious. So she's one of those people that you can tell her, but you better tell them as well. Hello, Liz Reed. Just got home from Legoland. It was such a sunny day and fabulous. That's Legoland in Great Britain. Yeah, she's been popping about. But other people from London have said the lockdown is still pretty tight there. This is something we got to be careful of, as places around us are still struggling. And we're like in a California bubble that's doing real well, but we're not closing our borders of California. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very, very careful so we can have everybody in the world get safe from this horrible virus. Hello again. Hello, Joe. Dad is adorable. Thank you, Tracy. He is. He's amazing. Young looking. He's 87 and doesn't look it. Good morning. Hello, Ava. You did that. You're good. Thank you, Tim. Yes, I did. I'm crazy. I'm an obsessive creative. I at age 14, I built 128 30 some for my friends. I built gingerbread houses, full-size little gingerbread houses about like this, in custom boxes. They were all over my house. My parents didn't know what to do about it when I was 13 years old. Decorated them and gave them away for Christmas. That's called an obsessive creative. If you're someone, just you got those weird childhood things you did as a kid, built a roller coaster in your backyard or something like that, you're imaginary material. I was taught when little, says Tracy, that anyone famous is just human as everyone else. It's true, but they take. Here's what most actors will tell you: they want to do the work, they want to be in films and movies, but fame is the thing they're not real keen on. Okay, if you get to be super famous, you lose the opportunity to shop in a market without being accosted. This is what Michael Jackson said, had to buy the mall first. So it's a trade-off, okay? It's a trade-off. And sometimes it can be very, very, if you're super in the news, you got paparazzis popping out of bushes, and they're not usually very polite. They're sticking their cameras in your face. I know you saw the Britney Spears stuff. Britney's trying to drive and they're sticking a camera in her window. They're actually creating hazards. So there's Famezilla, where you're just miserable. And then it's kind of in the middle, which I think as a character actor, it's kind of in the middle. I know you from something, but I can't remember your name, kind of thing is what I would like to be. I think I'd love to be that kind of a character actor. They get the fun roles, don't they? Being a lead is hard work. Yeah, it's hard work. You got to carry the film pretty much. So it's super hard work. And a lot of times the parts aren't necessarily that fun, but they can be fun for you. But often you think about the characters around him. If you think of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, he's great. He's funny. It's wonderful. But I remember the guy with the scar, Heil Hitler, the scene when he does the hanger. That's a great part. That's an awesome role, right? So I tend to like those salt and pepper characters that season the main dish. That's always the fun part. So, but yes, Tracy, you're absolutely right. So you respect them as human beings. Like I said, don't ask for their autograph in here. No, it's not cool. You wouldn't do that to other human beings. Why are you doing it to this person? Let them get done first. Maybe ask them while they're washing their hands. You know what I mean? But I can't tell you how many people have said that's the one place it's really irritating to get their autograph asked for. Good morning, Michael Roman. It's seriously, it's not happened to me. No, I'm not that famous. Wow, your cosplay outfits are fabulous. Thank you, Ava. Catwoman costume is incredible. Now I'm a detailed nut. Okay, so I put blue contacts in my eyes to look just like Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, that's gonna happen. I sculpted the Catwoman hat. If you want to see it, I still have it. I took whip lessons, so I can work a really mean bullwhip. Yes, I took lessons and won a huge prize in a cosplay contest at a Hollywood restaurant and bar. I won $7,000 first prize. Well, no. I won $2,500 first prize because I flicked the whip over the judges' heads after they told me not to, but I still did it. And then it wrapped around my waist like it does in the Batman with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. And that is my favorite Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is my favorite movie Catwoman. Julie Newmar is my favorite TV Catwoman. Eartha Kitt is a close second. But Julie Newmar had that beautiful round cat-like quality that I like. So, but Michelle Pfeiffer's been my favorite Catwoman for a long, long time. I just think she's really, really great. And the young girl who played the young Catwoman character in Gotham, I thought she was lovely too. I would have liked to see her do more, but I digress. So thank you for that, Ava. I am, and I still do. I actually teach people how to do certain cosplay costumes. I made a Guyver from the show Guyver. If you're into like really kind of deep, hardcore anime, the Guyver is one of them, and they made a female Guyver. She's purple, and I made a female Guyver. And nobody knew what it was, but I still won $50 third prize. So, yeah. Just you make what you love, right? You do. Tracy says, as normal everyday Christmas carol, even now, I still sang, what do you get a Wookiee for Christmas? And Merry, Merry Christmas from Star Wars Christmas album. Aw, isn't that sweet? I used to have the story of Star Wars in how many languages I sold? In 2007, I think it was like 11. My favorite was Japanese story of Star Wars. It was all in Japanese. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Princess Leia was just like classic anime. Oh, you know, oh, kudasai, you know, dozo. And Darth Vader was dozo. So he was big and heavy and deep voices, you know. Yeah. It was a deep voice and then a little voice, and it is great. It was an album. If you don't know what vinyl or an album is, you do, because you guys are amoeba record lovers, so you know what vinyl is, right? If not, Google it. But yeah, very cute. Holly Jolly Christmas is mine. I mentioned that I worked with Dolly Parton. Well, the Dolly Parton Christmas special I worked on had Burl Ives there. And of course, I never missed Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the stop motion Rankin Bass film, and TV special usually. And I burst into tears when he sang Holly Jolly Christmas. And he was sweet enough to not only give me an autographed picture of himself, but invite me to his home in Santa Barbara before he passed away, and sang it for me there. So it was amazing. It was amazing. It was lovely. I tell you, people, just like Tracy has said, we're human. Everybody's human. So treat us as such. What is your opinion of 1989's Ghostbusters 2? Not a fan. I thought it was okay, and my favorite part was when the ghost of the Titanic comes. Cheech Marin says, better late than never. Yeah, that was a good scene, wasn't it? It had its moments. And I really, 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 really wanted to be a part of Ghostbusters 2, but the people in charge decided to go a different direction than me as a puppeteer. I think because most of it was done up north in San Francisco, and they did a lot of it up there instead of down in Southern California. But I wanted to be a part of it, and then I saw it, and then was kind of glad I wasn't. But really proud of the first one. First one was a dream come true, and if I haven't told you the Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray story of how Bill Murray reacted to me and Caddyshack, ask it next time. And I will tell you that story. But that was a good scene. You're right. I come to your stories. I love them. Thank you, Tracy. I love them too. You know, I was listening to StreamYard, which is this platform that I'm on that broadcasts to both Facebook and to YouTube. uh, they had a what would you call it? Like an event, a day, I would say event. I can't remember. They had a special event, and there was a gentleman who said, "Live is gold, and be sure you give gold." And I thought, I don't know if I give gold, but I do my best. Not everything is words of wisdom, not everything, but kind of cherry pick what you like. But I'll always give you a good story, and I'm here every week, and it's going to be a little bit less as we get better acclimated into this new brave new world that we are entering into after the pandemic. I will shorten them as see fit, but I'm here for you as long as many of you are still in lockdown situations, and you show up, I'm here, So I love you guys very much. I'm here for you. He said a lot of things that meant a lot, and I took it to heart. So I'm thankful for that. Crystal, Chinese theater poster has a story to tell. Yes, it does. Is that something else? And when it was up for auction with everything else that was auctioned off in 2007, people didn't like how beat up it was, but that was the charm of it. It was beat up because it was hanging in the Chinese theater that first year Star Wars was offered to the public. So it's very special. And then to have Anthony Daniels come and present it to me on my 100th, it was super special. I mean, that doesn't happen to just a kid. And I was a kid who loved Star Wars, Star Wars opened a lot of doors of opportunities. Like Star Wars got me on The Price is Right. That's a true story. And I actually won some stuff. Bob Barker was the caller on it at that time, the original. Because remember, 1977, guys. In 1977, I was on The Price is Right. Because of what? Star Wars. There's another story. If you want to learn about that, ask it. And if you don't ask it today, because we'll probably wind up at noon, ask it in the next Ask Me Anything, okay? That's what these comments are for. You can ask me anything. Where did your hair come from? My father. Okay, my father and mother. I have the fuzzy, and my sister has the beautiful fall by, that curl with the fall by her. She has mostly my mother's hair. And she got the tan. I often thought that I should get the tan because whenever I'm on the beach, I don't like to lay in tan. I can't sit still for very long. I'm a total Tigger. So I'm always building sandcastles. So my tan was ridiculous. I tanned the top of my thighs and the back of my calves because I was always on my knees building sandcastles. Back of my neck and back got really good, but my front didn't get. And my mom would go crazy. She goes, "You look like a 50-50 bar." And my sister would lay out and sun herself. And my sister is a woman of color. I mean, she looks like a woman of color, So, yeah. God has a sense of humor. He mixed us up and said, let's see how this works. So very funny. Very, very funny. But there you go. Good morning, Johnny Johnson. How are you? I want to come and see you soon. I miss the Spawn Resort. Yes, I do. I miss you so much. I stopped telling stories long ago. I surprised myself telling you a couple last week. I appreciate that, Tracy, because storytelling is really good. And many people will give you gifts of storytelling, okay? Things they do or things they share, super special. And I may not retell your story unless it has significance to someone I'm speaking with. So you've seen that Crystal has done a shout out here, and Ashley has done a shout out here from a podcast I did yesterday. We had a very deep talk about bullying, and I told him that I gave a speech to young women who were 14 was the oldest, and 6 years old was the youngest, and they had all attempted suicide because they were so miserable about themselves. So I spent the day with them talking about art, and we did art together. And I said, every time you feel like killing yourself, put it in your art. Let your art be your expression of your anger, of your pain, just get it out and create with that. It doesn't even need to be something people see, but you are valuable, and we don't want to lose you, especially when you're young. But bullying can be painful. And I mentioned, I don't know if it was on the podcast or after the podcast, how I don't know how you guys handle cyberbullying, because it was not a thing when I was younger, but I think it's really chicken, because people have a mask and they are not in front of you, owning to their comment. So I think it's really chicken and cheesy if you attack people on cyber. I think it's really small of you, and it's not the best of you as a human being. So just don't, because it's not you and your best you. And I want to see your best you, and you're a human being. That's very special, very valuable. You got to be a human being, because that's a magical person. A person is magical. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, yes, Tracy, I love hearing your stories. Nice to meet you, Judy Moore. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. Yay! I hope you'll subscribe and come back again. Grim Grinny Tracy says, my parents had to leave the theater because of me while seeing King Kong in 76. I was wailing that they killed Kong. I know, right? You want to hear a King Kong story? I was in the crowd of that. And my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, we were in separate areas. They did a call. A lot of times in Hollywood, what they'll do is they'll ask everyone who's around to come and be in a massive scene. And King Kong, this particular King Kong, needed those people. So he answered the call and I answered the call, but we didn't know each other at the time. And then we had to do it over because that King Kong, which was a Dino De Laurentiis fully built King Kong. It was an actual giant King Kong. Sort of articulated audio animatronic Kong. They used yak's hair. You heard that Chewbacca the Wookiee was also yak's hair for a while. But yak is a real animal, and what can it get? Fleas. So that King Kong got fleas. They had to shut down the whole thing and de-flea poor King Kong before we could continue shooting that final sequence, which you talk about, Tracy, that you cried when Kong was killed. Yeah. It's a shame. 'Twas beauty killed the beast is a statement that happens in so many situations. If you're a superhero, your weak spot is the beauty that you fall in love with, or your family. That is your vulnerable, tender underbelly, which is one of the reasons many don't want to get connected with anybody, because they realize that if they do, it's danger for them, danger for that person. So I remember I told you I watched Criterion, and one of my favorite things is Zatoichi, the blind swordsman. He doesn't. He does not let anyone that close, because he knows that it could be dangerous for that person. He is a wanted man because he's so good with a sword and he's blind. So it's awesome. It's an awesome show. If you get to see it, it's so good. Yeah. Shintaro Katsu, I think is how you say his last name. Anyway, Shintaro for the first name. He's wonderful in that series. Wish I'd have known him. He's passed now, but I wish I'd known him so I could have told him how wonderful. I love that show. So yeah. But there I was in the audience, King Kong, in the big crowd scene. Yep. Theme Park Gal says, I met Daisy Ridley at California Adventure in the Guardians gift shop. I fan geeked. My son Alonzo, who's an actor, just walked up and was basically, can you take a picture with my mom? Yeah, I did that with Sidney Poitier because my friend, she was awful cute. She could not speak. Debbie, she could not speak. And I said, would you, before we do anything and too many people come around, take a picture with her? And I'll bet you it's still on her computer, on her laptop today. But yeah, just like you, she just, just walk up, share the love. I was in Farrell's. You remember Farrell's ice cream parlor, the zoo, the pig trough. The pig trough was so good. Ray Milland was in there, and the man with the X-ray eyes, 1950s man with the X-ray eyes. And I wanted to meet him so bad, so bad. He was the man with the x-ray eyes. And my dad said, well, let him finish eating and then you can go over there and say hello. And I did. And he was so kind to me. I was 11, I think, 9 or 11 years old. And I was, you're the man with the x-ray eyes. And he just looked at me and saw this kid was just like, and then can you imagine a little kid going, you remember when you could see everybody naked? It was so cool. And then you could see through other, he just ate it up. Because I'm a kid who acts it all out. I've done it since I was little. My mother says when I was in the shopping cart, I would act out every jingle. Silly rabbit, kicks are for trids. Tricks are for kids. So I would do it. I would sing the jingles and the thing. And I think a lot of people, when my mom was pushing the cart, would say, that girl's got too much television. But this is what happens with you is if you're a voice actor, right? Right, Crystal? Right? And you just do it. You're not doing it to be mean. You're not doing it to be, it just happens as a young person. You're spouting it off. And I sang jingles and I reenacted things. And if there was someone I liked, I acted out the part that I liked about them. So they got a kick out of that. Ever since they still get a kick out of. That's what's so funny about it. Good afternoon, Terry. Hope you're doing well. Have a wonderful weekend. Justin, you too. How many of you are going to Disneyland? Talk to me about when. My friend Robert Anderson is going 2 days. He's going April 30th and May 1st, okay? One day is not enough for Robert Anderson. He's going to go both days. And I told him, any of you that do go to Disneyland, just like me, you're going to have to talk about how you feel. Share it with us, okay? Because there's a lot of people that are not from California or from Northern California, not able to get down here, that can't do it. So if you're going, please share what you're seeing and feeling so that they can be a part of it. Do something nice for someone else. This is what you can do. It won't cost you anything. And you can do that for them. Gotta run. We'll catch the post later. Going to see the Bowers Museum Disney Archive exhibit today. Oh, Judy, how fun. Will you share us with that? Will you share that with us later? That sounds cool. Enjoy yourself. Congratulations. We've got Theme Park Gal saying, I got the picture when she was very gracious and it was a great moment. And it's a story you can tell over and over and over again, can't you? See, you got to thank your son for that one, right? Judy says, by the way, saw Star Wars 10 times in one sitting. Good for you. Good for you. It's a joy. It's a fun little film. Massachusetts tuning in. Whoop, whoop. Well, hello, Massachusetts. Whoop, whoop. I love the way you wrote that. Whoop, whoop. Hi, Richard. Welcome. Mike Clark says, would sit in the theater all of my Saturdays watching it over and over and over till I was due back home. Yeah. You saw those cosplay things I showed you, okay? So I fell in love with Star Wars. I would go in the morning and then I would sit every show, which you weren't supposed to do. Yes, I cheated. Changed my hair, changed my clothes, changed everything, and snuck in when the crowds went in. And I did that 67 times during the first week of Star Wars. And then when I got back, after having caught me, the manager allowed me to do it for free and bring a friend for as many times as I want, all the way up to what ended up being 183 times, 181 by the time it was in print on the Skywalking, George Lucas's biography or autobiography. I don't think he wrote it. I think somebody else wrote it. I get those mixed up. But I feel for you, Mike. That's exactly what I did, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I wrote down things. I drew. I just didn't want to be away from it back in 77. So you and I are kindred spirits on that one. Harry Potter for my sons, very huge fans. Harry Potter for a lot of people, okay? Harry Potter is something. And if you haven't done it already, your son needs to go see the actual Harry Potter exhibit in Britain when it opens up for you to do so. That is a frigging amazing Lots of super cool practical stuff. A lot of people wanted to see the model works, but as Imagineer, I built a lot of models. So I wanted to see the practical stuff. You remember the Serpent Gate? That's the actual size of the Serpent Gate. And you can actually make it move. You know how the serpents move? It's all oh gosh, it's so amazing. It's so good. The sculptures are huge, and you're just like, wish I'd worked on this film because it's so amazing. It's just so yeah. I'm a big fan of that. I loved seeing the actual Harry Potter sets, and then I flew on a broom, and I was an outlaw, and all kinds of things with my dear friend Annabelle, Damian Morley. And you've heard me talk about Damian here and the challenges he and his family have been facing. She walked me through, and it was great with this family because they dress up in their Harry Potter gear, and she looks just like Hermione. She's my little Hermione. And Hermione gave me a tour of this whole place. I was VIP because Hermione herself took me through and used her wand to do magic as we went through. And yeah, it was amazing. It was the best. It was absolutely the best. Stanley Kubrick, 2001: A Space Odyssey impacted me. No computer graphics, 1968 technology, craft. Yeah, it put me right out. But I love it. I love it. I hung on it. I'll tell you, it was the first thing that I really felt space was super strong. Yeah, to this day, I still love it. I still love it. You know, that space station they say they're going to build and be ready for 2026 or something, 2025, 2026. Looks like it came from 2001. Don't you think so? And then I felt very honored to work on 2010. I did the Star Baby. So puppeteered the Star Baby. So that was, woohoo! Because I was a big fan. Got to meet the model builders, the people who actually built the models from 2001, came back for 2010. That was like unbelievable. There was a guy, Doug Beswick, I think his name was. Woo! Yeah, these guys were amazing. Mark Stetson and his team. Yeah, Shops, Greg. Yeah, I mean, come on, Greg Gian. People that these people are legendary guys. Google them if you don't know who they are. They will blow you away. They are so good. Back then, they were just rock stars in their field and dazzlers. And there I was working with all of them. Yeah, it was very cool. Very, very cool. You can't get morning rise draw if your AM entry reservation is for DCA. That is correct, Tracy. That is also a very good point. It has to be Disneyland. And I know you all would figure that already, but just in case someone is here that wouldn't know, and you're right, that is a very good point. Can I ask you, Tracy, if you know if there is going to be a peek, maybe a soft opening of the Marvel thing? You're going to get a peek, do you know? That would be fun, wouldn't it? To be in California Adventure and get to take a peek before everybody else. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, but thank you, Tracy, for reminding me because, and thank you for doing something nice for everybody here by doing that because I might not have thought of that. I would not have, the two. So good for you. Thank you very much for stepping up and doing that. Thank you, Tracy. We also are going on the 28th. We're invited to a cast preview by cast member friend. Yeah, that's the 28th. I think I am the 27th. Let me look real quick, or I would love to run into you guys out there. Yeah, I'm the 27th, unfortunately. I am Tuesday the 27th, so I'm going to miss you by that much. I would have loved to have seen y'all. But have fun, because we're going to on the 27th and the 28th. Whoop, whoop. Bye. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, Tracy. Everyone, rising moons. You are the cutest. Bonnie, hi, Bonnie. Good to see you. You're never late. Better late than never, sweetie. Hello, Bob Rumba. I thought it was amazing when they redid Star Wars and released the original and the computerized updated version. To see both in the theater at the same time was like taking a film class. Yeah, it was. And I had to allow George Lucas to, it was his film and if he had made it at the time of the second one, he would have done this. But I really don't like the redos. I don't like that. I got to see the original because that's the one that blew me away. all the practical stuff. I don't feel you need the Gilda Lily personally. So I love the original ones, and I'm really happy because sometimes you don't get to, nowadays if you buy the DVD, I don't know that you can get the originals, but I have them. So I'm pretty happy that I have them. And I also have them on Laserdisc. If you don't know what a Laserdisc is, Google it. A nice rainbowy disc that you used to put in what's called a Laserdisc machine, and it looked a lot like a rainbow vinyl. It was wonderful, and I have the Star Wars saga in Laserdisc. If you don't know what it is and you really want to know what it is, let me know. I still have my Star Wars Laserdisc collection because I got it autographed by a few people and didn't want to let it go. Didn't want to. Janny G, don't you have work to do, girl? No. Janny and I, an amazing painter, actually talked all things painting as I'm working on this piece right here. And she and I had some nice chats about new technology when doing for a portrait, for example. Is it cheating if you do use new technology? And I said, no, I think you use the technology you're given. And because if you're painting like this, many a slip between cup and lip, it's going to change because it's going to be on you eventually, So Carol Baskin definitely is guilty of something. Stay tuned because that is, forgive my use of words, that's a juicy story. And there's several of them that are creepy and juicy. I have this wonderful friend, I did a forensic facial reconstruct, I got to say this, got to think about this really seriously. Forensic facial reconstruction class where you take the skulls of a victim. Now, in this class, you don't. It's a casting of a skull because you're practicing. And the teacher wants you to have all of them together. Karen T. Taylor. Anyway, she is an amazing teacher. She's one of the people that did this when a lot of people didn't do this. And it's amazing to do it. But she's appeared on and loves forensic files. She loves all things forensic, and she loves delving into that. Some people find that a little unsavory, but forensics is such an amazing line of work. And to meet a lot of when you're doing this class, there were very few people that are like me. They were a Disney artist. In fact, I think I was the only one who was an artist. The rest of them are police officers, forensic scientists, forensics anthropologists. It's like being with lots of brain power in the room. And it was really fun to be with them and talk to them about forensics. I really think had this been around when I was younger and I knew about it, I would have been in this field because this is a fascinating field, and it's amazing to be someone who reconstructs from the skull up with the help of a forensic anthropologist. They walk you through the whole deal and you work together, and then you put this, you've seen it on Forensic Files. In fact, you've even seen Karen appear on there talking about it. And it's so cool because you actually help a family have closure. Because they find the skull and they find the bones, and maybe there's not teeth, and maybe there's a tooth, and so maybe they can't tell who the person is. So based on the process that you do for forensic facial reconstruction, you get to do this. Let me see if I can find a couple pictures for you. It's just it's such a cool course. I want to go do it again because it's so cool. So here it is, facial reconstruction class. So this is the skull, and you can see on the projector, that's Karen, and she's actually telling you how to set eyes in. And then all of these little nubs are skin depths based on this particular person. And during the class, and here I am actually doing some of the measurements, her book is there. And now we're laying in clay to it. And there it is again, another angle. I guess I have 50. There it is, a little more. And then finally, I had this face that you do, and then you'd fine tune it, right? So then they put the actual skull on. This one was actually, Karen did it, and they were able to identify this person because of this. And and she puts it on the screen, and I can't show you, but you have to guess based on your sculpture, and you'd be amazed how different these all are. Uh, which one looks like the closest to the one that you did. So it's a great class. It's in Texas. The number one forensic college is in Texas, San Mateo, I think is how you say it, near Austin. You got to fly into Austin and then get driven out there. But it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. If you're someone who's curious about doing it, you don't really need to know how to sculpt. But you do need to know how to keep a secret, because a lot of these people don't want to be photographed or filmed while you're there. So I had to be very careful with the direction of my camera. So that's why I showed you the ones that I did. So it protects them as well. But it's a fun class. I was in a cage with a tame live tiger. He rubbed against my leg like a house cat, so heavy. I thought he could break my leg. I learned how heavy and big they really are. Yeah, you know when you see them as kittens and you hear about actors and actresses dreaming that they could carry a cheetah, like at the end of a leash, you've seen that? Or bringing up baby. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. You imagine? In fact, I just saw these women raising polar bears in Russia. 6 women decided to raise them because the mama bear had them and she didn't want to feed them. And they're cute now. She can actually put them underneath each arm, but later they will be, about polar bears, ruthless. The paw is like a dinner plate. So, wow. Yeah, I feel you there, Bob. I was at Magic Mountain. One of my first jobs was at Magic Mountain here in Southern California. And there was a lion that you could take pictures with. And I would go and look at the lion every single day. And then one day I took pictures with him, and he must have recognized me because he put his 2 front paws and his whole upper body on my legs and would not get off. And just like you said, the weight was incredible. Beautiful, so wonderful to see an animal that close. But I was also doing a film called Wild America. I wish I could find these pictures, where I kissed a Kodiak bear. True story. Wild America, which is the story of the guys who did the show Wild America. I performed the bears, and I performed snakes, and I did all kinds of the animals, because you're not going to have the actors be with the actual creatures unless you're kind of crazy. But this giant bear, 4,000 plus pound, he was bigger than that. He was huge. And the handler said, you want to kiss him? And I was like, okay. When I leaned in to kiss this bear, his nose was as wide as the width of my eyes, guys. And I thought, how many people see this before they die? Okay. Yowzer, what an amazing beast. But like I said, I had the opportunity to kiss a Kodiak. When is that going to happen? And I jumped through, worry about it later. As long as you got the proper people being cool, but yes. So Bob, aces. Tigers are so beautiful too. Do you remember the movie Manhunter, where the killer shows the blind girl about tigers? Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful sequence. It's the only one I remember. Well, the other one I remember is a lot more gross, but this was so beautiful. His tender moment, his evil, wow, amazing. Thank you for the comments about bullies, says Richard. I will be sharing this with my autistic son. Yes, please do, Richard, because and anytime your autistic son wants to reach out to me, he's welcome to, because he's special. He's very special. Everybody's special. We have things that we must get past, or understand why we have this superpower, if you will. So, Richard, your son has a superpower. He may not know what that superpower does for him as someone with autism, but it is a superpower. And just him, explain to him, Spider-Man didn't know how to shoot web right off the bat, right? He learned he was this, you got to get through learn about your superpower. And, once you do, you're a rock star. So I'm serious about this. I have a very, very good friend who's an actor, and he's autistic as well. And he talks about his superpower. So I'm getting it from him. Angie Floyd says, Terry, you aren't gold, you're platinum. Angie, you're the best. If I ever need someone to make me feel better, it's you, girlfriend. Thank you so much. I have to hear the Price is Right story. Loved Bob Barker. Are you a Bob Barker fan? Okay, so Angie, remind me, and I'll tell it to you next Friday, okay? I'll do it at the top of the hour. You're the next. I'm going to write that down, actually. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. You're the next. And I'll open with it because if I have to get my vaccine, I better open with it early because I'm going to have to leave early, okay? Price is Right. So what I said at the top of the hour was that I may be getting my vaccine, so I won't be able to do a long Ask Me Anything next Friday. I'm trying to get it earlier, but if I can't, that's my date. So I'll be short that day. So come early, Angie, and I'll tell that story, I promise. Or watch it later. You mentioned a bit about bullying at our lecture, and it really impacted the children. Always. Bullying is a big deal, okay? And it's I can't emphasize this enough, guys. A lot of the times it's not you. That's what's so weird. It's not you. And the funny thing is, if you do art or music based on your anger or your irritation or your hurt from it, those bullies do a flip and become your friend. I'm telling you, it's happened a lot. True story. Weird. But everybody has, it's just walking a mile in somebody else's shoes and trying to figure out why they're so, crazy. And if you haven't heard my prejudice story as a little girl, because someone used the N-word at me when I was 11, put that down for next week too. I must go, Bob, your darling. Go, it's here. Watch it later. I'm about to end it myself. So do you have to be in the park before you get to Rise? No. But as was mentioned, you do need to be out of the California Adventure. I mean, I think you could be in California Adventure, honestly, and book it if it's like within what? Like, again, at 12. Okay? That's what it is. That's what it is, guys. Again, at 12, because you're going to do the shift, right? You're going to bounce from California Adventure into Disneyland. That's why 12 o'clock. We figured it out. So at 12 o'clock, you would pop it up and you would do it then because they know you're coming from California Adventure into Disneyland. So 12 o'clock is your time, guys. That's when you do it. Wow, we discovered it together. Aren't you excited? I am. Hello. No, you do not have to be at the park, but you do have to have a paid Disneyland park ticket and reservations. Like I said, Tracy, I'll bet you that's why they do it again at 12 o'clock. Oh, I'm feeling really full of myself. Noted, says Leo. Forgive me why I just get a little excited about it. I get my second shot Friday the 30th too. We'll be kindred spirits if I have to. I'm trying to get it earlier though, because I'd love to talk to you for longer. Michael says, I know you love to sculpt. Have you ever tried to sculpt a vape pen? I don't smoke, but would love to see a tiki room vape pen. It's interesting you ask me this, Michael, because for Christmas in 2019, my husband got me a glass blowing class, the kind where you spin oh my God, it was so much fun. And I met a guy who does pipes. So I'll ask him about it, okay? I'm sure he could do a tiki one if I can't. And if I can, I'll have him teach me. Okay, deal? We have to wait till after the pandemic, but I'm still close with this guy because he does smoke and he's really proud of making these pipes. So no judgment, but remind me, keep me on it, Michael, okay? Especially as we loosen up, all right? Because I want to get back with this teacher and take another class. So that's a great idea. And I know he'd love to do it for you. He makes some of the coolest of that paraphernalia. It's amazing. It's art. Yeah, you would love it. So no judgment. I jotted down Price is Right a while ago. Thank you, Leo. You're on it, my love. Thanks, Tracy. Okay, so guys, it's time to... I'm so glad we had this time together. You remember that? Yeah. So I love you guys. Do something nice for someone else. I know we didn't talk Academy Awards specifically, but Leo, carry those for after, because on Monday we'll sort of talk about things like that, Oscar moments and things like that. But I really do love just to get into this with everybody over here. It's so much fun. And Leo, you could post the questions in the comments, because I'm leaning over in the comments a lot. And if that's easier for you, I know you are not always here, but I love this way that you do this. Thank you so much. But also, that's kind of how the answers are triggered, or from people who ask me questions in the comments. There's so many of you now that are sweet enough to do that. I love you guys. You be safe. Share again with everyone. My sister in comedy, we started out together, is Judy Tenuta. Is that how you say it? And goes in to start chemo and asks for prayers. Guys, this is important. Put our hands together and think good thoughts about Bob Ruma's sister. And the thing that is so beautiful about Judy is that I'll bet you she's looking in this and attacking it with love and laughter, because that's what comedians do. So, Judy, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you, and you will fill my thoughts this weekend. Thank you for sharing that, Bob. I really appreciate it. She will be in my thoughts. Walk in and get your second shot a few days early. There's reportedly a glut of vaccines in the system. Yes, indeed, there is. They told me I can only be 4 days ahead of schedule. That's tomorrow. So as soon as tomorrow hits, I will do just that. Thank you, Leo. I appreciate that. I pop in and out. I know you do. You're such a pop in or outer. You Pop-Tart, you. Angie, you're always the first. Thank you so much, my loves. I love you a bunch. Be well. I will see you Monday, same bat time. If you are new to this and you enjoyed today, please subscribe. Hit that little bell, because they tell you to do that. I'm looking for choice followers, people who really enjoy this. So don't worry if it's not a lot of us getting together. Those that get together are the most valuable. I love you so much, each and every one of you. Be well, stay safe, and I'll see you on Monday. All my love, guys. All my love. Bye for now.